So just repeating who we had lined up for the listener. We had Nathan Cleary, Ryan Pappenhausen, Munster, and James Tedesco.
Yeah. And they were coming in the studio.
They were all coming in the studio. But what's happened, Brian?
Well, the RLPA have decided to say to their players, if you signed up in the union, it's getting very unionised, the workers, united. And they're not allowed to do post-game or pre-game, post-game and halftime interviews with any organisation.
Is that right?
That is right.
So pre-game, post...
Halftime
So basically anything at the match?
Yep, can't do it. They've been told not to do it. So I wonder if the players go out on their own and do an interview, would they be called scum?
Oh, yeah.
Scum.
Yeah. That could happen.
Oh, Lizzie Steed just texted me. G'day, Lizzie. I thought you were overseas, Liz. Elizabeth Steed was over in Canada, and she just said, looking forward to seeing you, because she's a physio.
Oh.
Maybe Liz could give it over the, I think it's rotator cuff, Liz. So if you can text me.
Self-diagnosed.
I think it is.
I'll tell you, a Z-grade nomination, Jaleesa Rapps is over there in England. And this Peter Laylaw?
Oh, Peter Layla. Yeah.
Peter Layla.
Got me
Peter
Master
Layla, he missed his train. He posted he missed his train. And so Jaleesa reached out and said, I'm heading up north if you need a lift. I've tried to text you, haven't got back to me, but you might have changed your number. But that's a Z-grade material.
Oh, what a good person.
Yeah, she's a great person. Tell you who else is a great person, one of my favourites, Troy Phillips.
Yes. What's he done for us?
First Point Mortgage Brokers. He's going to come on and talk all things fiscal. So we look forward to that. Contributor of the day. Okay, here we go. Ooh, up for grabs today and Thursday. And congrats to Rooster Muzz, who won it yesterday. A double pass to Game 3 of Origin. Ampol State of Origin is heading to Accor Stadium. Watch the fight for State Pride live. Head to nrl.com/tickets now, Brian.
The Barnows just said, a dumb Queenslander on $1.01 to cross the scab line. Cheers, Barnow. Are you saying because he's just unaware of the whole thing? Probably. Well, what's that going to do? Like, seriously. It's not like that's all that's affecting.
The fan.
Is the fan.
That's right.
It's not affecting anyone else.
No, and it makes the players look bad.
Terrible.
It makes the players look bad. It's the wrong way to go.
Well, this affects the fans and the broadcasters.
Yep.
It doesn't affect the NRL, does it? Really?
Not really. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like everyone but the people that you want to be making a stand for.
If they really want to affect
against
rugby, the NRL.
It's actually affecting the broadcasters more. The broadcasters and the fans probably more than anyone.
Broadcasters for content.
Yep.
But fans more than anything. So fans get an insight into what's going on at half time and pre-game.
Okay. Can I just preempt something?
Oh, preempt away.
Right. So this is where the players can get a little bit too tricky. Okay. So this happens. And what if the fans say, all right, we'll play that game. How about we don't come to your games? What happens if that happens?
Well, less money for the NRL. It's not necessarily direct affecting the players.
They'd have to take their membership dollars out.
Yes.
So they would say, I'm not going, if you want to be a fan, say, I'm taking my membership out because they get dollars from that.
Yep.
I'm taking my sponsorship out. That would hurt them.
Yep.
But they're not going to do that.
I just don't think it's the right course for the players.
No.
To achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
They're trying to achieve, is it still the same sticking point that they want the paid leave and you get looked after medical wise after you retire? Is that still the sticking point?
Well, it is the whole collective bargaining agreement, right? It hasn't been signed off yet.
No, but
but you're saying the things within that CBA.
Salary cap went up, tick. We're happy with that.
Yep.
But it was all the other little additions. I know the girls, I think they got that. Paid maternity leave.
They post the remember they posted the tile on Instagram? And then they were boycotting the preseason event.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Scab. Rob from Narrabeen, not Scum. Scab.
Scum. I thought you were just changing the name up.
No, you're a scab. Remember those down on the waterfront? We saw all that.
Patrick.
Down there in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, though, will it? Will they strike?
Who knows how that's going to play? 1300 01 1170. Text 0457 736 736. Oh, Brian. Are you going home to a very quiet household tonight?
No, Luca's not away yet. So I've still got a little one.
Yeah, but when did
Brit's gone and the eldest
was that this morning or yesterday?
Today at about, I think they've got to be at the airport now.
Yeah, wow.
6 o'clock. So, curried sausages tonight. Boom.
Boom.
I prepped it all. I'm ready to go when I get home.
Yeah.
Bit of mustard, bit of milk, bit of butter, bit of onion, bit of carrot.
Peas.
I don't throw peas in. I go old school. If I want to get a little bit funky, you throw a little bit of chorizo in.
See.
Yeah, but that's not what I didn't have when I
no.
was a kid. I'm going back to my old days, not my roots. I got in trouble for saying that yesterday.
That was posted.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, 1.1s. Here we go, Mr. Marketable. I couldn't give a rat's ass if they never do a halftime interview again. It's the same questions, same answers every time. Mr. Marketable.
I've got to say there, the halftime questions don't
No,
get me.
but kids froth. Young kids love it.
Yeah, but let's throw some different questions at them.
Well, what would you like?
Like something more like this incident happened, tell us about that, or
When you're walking
like
off.
because they just give you dot ball nothing. Like give us something we actually saw.
You remember when
Give us something we don't know.
Remember when Matty Russell walked off with the scissors? Who was that to?
No.
So he was walking off at half time,
Yeah.
and someone had a rank mullet. I can't remember who it was. And Matty was asking the question. He goes, by the way, I've got these scissors if you want me to cut your hair off. And the bloke was walking up the tunnel. It was so bizarre.
Was it?
But that was quite interesting.
Yeah, that's it. Let's just give us something. Give us something. You know, that's what we need to see.
Matty Russell's had some of the greats. There was one when I was at Fox and it was with Clint Gutherson. And because of this, we were trying to spice up the halftime interview. And so we went to the Eels and went, we want to do a bit of an extended one. And Matty asked him like 5 questions, like about the game, and it was good, but it felt like a bit of an interrogation because we were used to just the 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it was and they were walking, it looked great, they had the steady cam, but it was like Matty was like on a current affair just chasing him down the street. But he's awesome.
Yeah, he
does
is awesome.
so many good interviews.
Is the cafe still kicking?
Yes.
Is it called the Love Cafe?
I think it is.
The bacon and I want to get to him. I found this aioli mixture.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Yeah, with sriracha in it. It was mixed all together. Oh, God, it was good.
So good. 1300 0111. Brian, I've had an epiphany. Genders.
Yeah.
If this radio thing doesn't work out for you and I down the track, we'll get into recruitment.
Okay.
It's not that hard. It is not that hard, right? So, for example,
Are you
these
talking about rugby league recruiting?
rugby league recruiting.
Not working for like
No, but it's not that
HR
hard.
recruiting.
Brian, there's an old saying, which I think you might have even come up with it, and then someone tried to plagiarise you,
Yeah,
but
I probably did.
you become the sum of the average of the 5 people you hang around most, right? So if you're in the scenario of the West Tigers, how is it feasible that you only, up until prior to this year, you only had to make the top 50%? The top 50%. That is hardly high achieving making the top 50%. You've only had to make the top 50%, and we've had 12 years to do it, right?
I don't reckon you could do it. You could get the players, but then the managers, they'd get your knickers in a knot.
Nah.
you would.
I know the right play to go for, Brian.
Okay.
And,
Well,
and
put
all,
it out there.
all ship, we need tide risers, right? And I spoke about this before. You think about this. So the West Tigers, when they're up and about, it's not just about the shiny new toy.
Yep.
So a lot of the typical signing for the West Tigers is a Schuster, is a Zach Lomax, is someone like that where, we can make them better. Yeah, the potential's there. We can make them better. That's the typical West Tigers signing. But what we actually need to do is we've not had success since Gareth Ellis was there, Chris Hyington was there, and you push the group up. The Sharks, they catapulted themselves in the second position in the regular season last year. They signed Finucane, McGuinness, Hines. The standards of the group all come up.
Yeah, but you got to remember too, they've come from other clubs and they're a bit older now. The hard thing for recruitment is getting the kids who are 18, 19, 20. You don't know what they're going to turn into.
But this is where we have to overpay, not for the shiny new toy.
No, I agree.
Right, the Offa Hengaways and, these types of players. Tavita Pangai Jr. going to Canterbury. These are talented players who have been sort of in the current with the gun sides, but even like Charlie Staines and Dane Laurie, and because they were part of this gun system, they've been in this current. I'm not saying they're the worst players.
Doesn't necessarily mean they can transfer that over.
And then you've got other players who, in their own right, like Ben Hunt, Luke Brooks, those types of players are very, very good players in their own right, but there's no evidence of those players rising a group, right? So the West Tigers' next 5 signings have to be the players who are going to improve the group.
Okay, who are they, Mr. Recruiter?
Who are they out there?
No, who do you want?
Well, the first thing I'd ask the players who have come from other clubs. I'd say, listen, can you think about the clubs you've been at, and can you tell me who were the players at training that were pushing you along? So it's not just me looking at a player play. Clearly, you can see Dale Finucane is one of those guys. But there's like a bloke like Scott Sorensen, who all the Sharks would vouch for the same thing when he was there. Penrith pick him up. Great recruiting.
Yes.
It's that player, that is this player going to improve our group? The Tigers have probably got enough good players there, talented, that they just need a few other people to raise the standards. I've told the story many times where Tim Sheen's actually, whether it was by luck or by wanting to do it, he got 3 of the young Roosters players, and they played no part in what the West Tigers did in 05. And I have told this story many times, but it raised the whole group.
Yeah, do you think it's not the players, it's the coaching staff of certain clubs? They're there.
Of course it is. That's a big part of it.
The players have got this in them, but they're just...
No, but more importantly...
It's not getting unlocked.
No, but more importantly, it's the most influential players have got to lift the group.
Correct.
So when I was there, and I've learned from the other way, when I was there, you could argue the most influential players were the ones who were sort of keeping everyone back. I remember, believe it or not, I was probably one of the fittest in the team. I'd be taking off, and a senior player would be saying, "Mate, come back, come back. You're in back. This is stick solid." When it's not sick and solid, when the other clubs are pushing themselves, and the other team's pushing themselves.
Okay, that's perfect. That there is the trick in a coach. For a coach to grab that senior player and put him on show, which a lot of coaches don't. I go back to Ricky Stewart, and now I know it was all contrived.
Yep.
When Sticky first came over and he got us all up, and I think I've told this story before, when he ripped into Freddie on the video.
Yeah,
and
right.
whether they were in cahoots, they probably were.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting back, and Simon Benetti's head nearly fell off.
Yep.
And because we'd never seen that with Gus or Graham Murray.
Yep.
Before, or when Arthur was there, they would never say that to a first, the gun player, or it was a captain at the time. So it certainly worked. So
Brian, we were halfway through the year. We'd finish a video session, and every single week, and I was just 20, 21. This is what you did, and in conjunction with this, my form fell off a cliff. We'd be out on the source every Monday, every Wednesday, and it was the senior players who were leading that. The senior playing group, and as I said, it's not a shot at Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt's a terrific player, but we haven't seen... There's one thing being a great player and being a great coach. There's one thing being a great player and a great leader of men, right? Ben Hunt's a gun player, and he's played basically as good as he has and could for the Dragons, but has he had a big influence on the group? And sometimes you need more than just one player, right?
Well, I was speaking to someone who used to work at the Tigers, and they couldn't believe Jonathan Gowie got let go, because you're talking about guys that lift the standard of training. He apparently was one guy that did it.
Okay, was he? Well, then if that was the case...
They've had one.
Okay, there you go.
Why did they get rid of him?
That's right. Well, then if that's a bad call if that's the case. If he maintains that, and I don't know, this is why when you say ask me, well, I haven't done the research to know. The players know. Amongst all the players, you've got tentacles basically everywhere, and it's so easy to find, or trainers who have come from other clubs, or physios who have come from other staff. It's not hard to identify the tide rises, is it?
No, it's not. But the other thing is, you're talking about leaders. It goes the other way too. I've been in sides where a guy will push you and say something, and other guys will go, "Mate, put your head in," and then it's back chat, like stabbing him in the back when he's not there, talking about him. Look at this bloke, trying to to impress.
Yes.
But you've all got to get to that level, which is very hard.
That's right.
Because you get a lot of jealousy in teams.
And you can just see, clearly the Sharks have a lot of improvement, and they are to this point bashing up on the weaker sides. But when you hear the players being interviewed, this is how you know Craig Fitzgibbon's a very good coach. They just love the bloke. You can tell that he'd have that fine balance of raising standards.
Yeah.
Toby Rudolph
Well, he's a player. That's what he did as a player. So they say...
Was he a tide riser as a player?
Heavy.
Yeah.
He's a reflection of his players and the effort they do.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of, towards the end of last year, they obviously fell away a little bit, but they got to second position.
Yep.
Fitzy's in there doing training himself.
But the best coaches would be this. You heard the stories about Craig Bellamy training.
Yep.
You know that Madge Maguire, there's a good coach in Madge Maguire with the right people around him.
Yep.
Ivan Cleary, a pro. It's exactly the same thing. A great player doesn't make a great coach, and a great player doesn't make a great leader in your team. And too often we pay for the shiny toy who's the eye catcher when we should be overpaying. Like Dale Finucane, whatever the Sharks have paid him, honestly, this sounds ridiculous, but you could pay Dale Finucane $1 million and you would get a return on that purely on the standards, not at the ability that he has, but getting 5 and 10% out of every other player in your group.
Yeah, no. You talk about that. Jared Hayne, for example, was the shiny toy.
Shiny toy.
But at training, he wouldn't train.
No.
He'd say, right, I'll come at the end of the day. Towards the end of the week. Didn't have to do the fitness. That was on the field, yes, fantastic. Almost got into a grand final that year in 2009 when he was just playing out of his skin. But he's not a good signing. He wouldn't be a good signing.
No.
You know what I mean? For a struggling team.
So Ben Hunt, and I'm using these again, Ben Hunt, Schuster, Lomax, these type of ultra-talented players, the Tigers don't need them and they don't need the Tigers. Those players need to be in good systems and they're superstar players.
And they need to be, because they've never been told by any coach.
That's right.
Even when you're a young fella, you don't want to upset him. He might go somewhere else.
Yep.
So you've got to be a tough sort of coach and a brave organisation to pull a kid up who is on $1 million.
Tigers need Hyingtons, Sorensens, Ellis, James Grahams. List goes on. That's
Morley, Fitzgibbon.
They're the players the West Tigers need. If they make their next 6 or 8 signings, those types of players will
Tigers
be playing.
might need Messenger as well.
The run home with Joel and Fletch.